everyone and welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'll be talking about the 10 changes that Eurovision 2025 desperately needs. Now, today marks the 1st of September, which means that from today and this point onwards, any song that is being released could potentially be eligible to participate in Eurovision 2025. So I thought, what better way to kick off the season than go through the 10 things that we desperately need for Eurovision 2025. Number 1, no toxic fan wars. Eurovision fans are, and I can say this because I'm a Eurovision fan, Eurovision fans are very dedicated and they're very hardcore. And when they love an artist, they're going to support that artist. And they might also be kind of hatred towards artists that might threaten the person that they really like. And sometimes this love for one artist can kind of turn into hatred and toxicity towards another artist, which results in a very toxic environment with very hostile comments towards other people in the comment section, and also very negative and rude comments about other artists that they might not like, or they might not like their song. And this was very apparent with 2023, Kere and Loreen. We had these two fan groups kind of like going on about it with each other. And like, seriously, can we just put all the fan wars in the grave and move on and have a discussion on a more human-based level where we can talk to one another and agree to disagree? Number 2 is a new voting format. Now, I really like the 50-50 jury televote split. I do think that's good, and I don't think any voting system would probably ever be perfect, but I do think that there are some flaws with the current system that I think we could do something about. And the primary issue is within the juries. I personally think that we need to expand the juries. There's no way that 5 people can represent the entire music scene of, for instance, the United Kingdom or Germany or Greece or whatever. We need to make these juries bigger, and I also think that we need to make more clear criteria for what the juries are actually judging. And I think these criteria should also be kind of presented at the start of the show, so that it's very clear for everybody what the juries are actually judging. And yeah, I think we should at least have 10 people in the jury, but I'd love to see 15, 20, or even 25 or 30. This costs money, I know, and it's probably not going to happen right now, but I do think it would be really, really nice. And another thing I really would love is if we could have a international jury vote, like where there was like a jury international vote, kind of like we have in around the world, rest of the world vote in the public vote. We could also have like a rest of the world jury vote. That's something that I like to see at least. I think that could be a pretty fun addition. Number 3, no more drama. Now, don't get me wrong, I love drama, but I don't love this drama that we had last year. Obviously, due to Israel's participation, a lot of drama occurred. Marina, the Greek representative, doing a weird snoozy, like, I don't know what the hell she was doing at that press conference. Jules with the towel over his head, or the flag over his head, and grown-up people booing of a 20-year-old girl singing on stage. Every time that she would go on to perform, people would boo of her, like, seriously. And of course, the biggest scandal of all, Joost Klein, the Dutch representative, being disqualified at the day of the grand final, which also led to the international voting being postponed. So no one knew what was going on, and in the end we just had 25 songs competing. Now, this Joost Klein case will never have an end, I think, but the case has now been dropped because they don't have enough evidence. So it's due to like lack of evidence, which is okay, fair. We will never for sure know what happened. Like, we're never gonna know. We will always have a few sides of the story, and so there's really no way for me or anyone else really to say whether this disqualification was justified. We would just never know. We'd have to live in the unknown because we will probably never get an answer. But all this drama is simply just too much. Like, even for me, it's too much. We had people threatening to not participate, like literally at the day of the grand final. We didn't even know if we were gonna have a grand final because people were literally threatening to withdraw, and I was like, what the hell is going on? And obviously there were massive chaos outside the arena with protesters and everything. It was like, I love drama, but this was just a little bit too much, even for me. Number 4, the EBU needs to change. The EBU, the Eurovision Broadcasting Union, need to make some serious changes because especially this year, they have really failed miserably. There is a lack of communication And when there is communication, the communication is really, really bad. And this was really shown with Israel's participation, the disqualification of Joost Klein, and the general bad environment for the artist backstage. It was just like there was no good communication from the EBU, and when they had something to say, they said something later that contradicted what they already said, and they said stuff too late. It was a mess, and the EBU seriously need to dig into what is going on, because they literally did a really, really bad job. And they have launched an independent investigation, which basically have pointed to 3 areas that they need to improve, which are EBU governance and participation, safety and risk management, and ensuring a general audience show and broad engagement, whatever all that means. But we don't need talk. We need them to actually show that they're willing to work, and that they are aware of the issues that they made last year and the problematic ways that they acted. They really need to show that they're actually changing, because they really need to make some serious changes. And I also think they need to fire some people at the top, because seriously, if you want to get changes, you need to fire some people. Just saying. Number 5, and this is not too dramatic, but we don't want too many hosts. 2024 got it right. 2 hosts, Petra, Melin, perfect, work together, good chemistry. But why do we have to have 3 or 4 individual on stage together? I don't understand. Pre 2014, it was just always 2 people, and that worked perfectly fine. But then since then, there has been a trend, excluding 2016 and 2024, of having 3 or 4 people host. In my opinion, it's just too much. I really think that a duo with good chemistry, it's much better than 3 or 4 individuals on stage that can't really make it work together. And I feel like when there are 3 or 4 hosts, you barely get to know the host, and it just doesn't work. I don't see any argument for having 3 or 4 hosts. 2 could perfectly do the job, and I just really prefer the hosting when there's only two hosts. Number 6, no technical glitches. In 2024, we had a few. There were some issues with the voting. I didn't really notice it, but I did hear that a lot of people had some issues with the voting in the grand final. But the worst technical glitch was, of course, our girl Colleen being robbed, because no one could see her amazing dance moment because the screen just froze. What happened, no one really knows, but she's literally been working towards this moment for 3, 4, 5 years, and these 3 minutes she's been working towards for so long, and then literally this happened. It cannot happen on the biggest television show in the world, and she didn't even get the chance to sing again because she was the last to perform in the grand final. So they didn't really think about it. They just went on with the recap, and then what do? You cannot really put her on stage again after the recap, and it was just it was a bit of a mess, and she should definitely had the chance to sing again. That would have been fair. And don't even get me started. 2022, yeah, we all remember the broken sun. How can the stage be broken? How can that happen? It's the biggest TV show in the world, and the freaking stage is broken. The broken sun will forever haunt me. And I don't ever want to hear about the sun again, because the broken sun forever haunts me in my dreams. Number 7, overuse of pre-recorded elements. After COVID, the EBU made some changes so that you are allowed to have pre-recorded backing vocals on your track, which have previously not been allowed. Now, let me read this statement from the EBU. The idea behind the change is to offer participating broadcasters the possibility to explore new creative ideas, to travel with a smaller delegation for 2021, and reduce technical burdens on the host broadcaster. And then they say, all lead vocals performing the melody of the song, including an eventual use of so-called lead dub, should still be live on or off stage in the arena. So the EBU wants to make these changes to basically make it easier for the delegation to travel after COVID. Now, I'm not against the use of pre-recorded backing vocals, but it does become an issue for me when basically the lead vocal is just backing track, because you cannot hear the actual person singing. You cannot distinguish their voice from the actual backing track. And that is where I think we're at some gray area, because isn't that breaking the rules of all lead vocals performing the melody, blah, 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 should be sang live if you hear the like backing track so loud that you cannot hear the person actually singing in front. We had Andrew Lambrou is a good example for Cyprus. We also have a lot of other examples of this happening in the few years that it has been tried. Yeah, I mean, the instrumentations are obviously playback, and it has been since 1999, but if we're also now having basically people not being able to be heard because we are having so much pre-recorded backing vocals, what do we have left? Then it's just people dancing on stage. So we really need to make sure that we're not going into an area where we are having so much pre-recorded backing vocals that we cannot hear the people singing. There should be some limitations, and people will really need to look careful at this, because I think it's a real issue. Number 8, more than 37 participating countries. Now, 2024, together with 2023 and 2014, had the lowest number of participants since the introduction of the semifinals in 2004. Obviously, Russia and Belarus, which used to participate every year, are not participating since 2022. And let me just read a statement from the EBU. The Russian public service broadcasters had their EBU membership suspended in 2022 due to consistent breaches of membership obligations and the violation of public service media values. Obviously, we cannot have them participate in the Eurovision Song Contest when they're not keeping the values that is a requirement for the broadcaster to participate in the EBU. That's fair, it's just sad that it has to be this way. Obviously, North Macedonia and Bulgaria aren't participating currently. It's very expensive for these very small broadcasters, and also when other countries are dropping out, it becomes more expensive for the countries that are still left, which is really, really sad. But especially for these very small broadcasters, it can be very, very expensive. But we are seeing Montenegro return for 2025. I am so excited. Montenegro usually is my favorite country at Eurovision, but I do really have a soft spot for these small nations who particularly usually doesn't do that well. So I am looking forward to see what they can bring for 2025. I really hope to see Bosnia, Turkey, Slovakia, and Hungary back soon, but we don't really know if it's going to happen. But I just want more countries, because to me, more countries is just better in Eurovision. But obviously, sometimes there are other things in the world that matters more than having people participate in the Eurovision Song Contest. Number 9, need better access to the press and fan media. So for 3 years now, the first rehearsals have been exclusively on TikTok with this TikTok partnership deal, which I know it's going to give them a lot of money, but the press room has also been closed for the first week, and it really limits like the opportunity for the fan and the press media to make interviews, make content. And I don't really understand what the EBU are getting. I mean, they're gaining some money from the partnership, I'm sure, but also they're really losing out on a lot of focus on the competition, because all of these media cannot do a lot of interviews and a lot of like content, because there's not a lot of people to talk to. It's much harder. And also, I would have loved for like the media to be able to see the first rehearsals. I understand that you don't want everyone to be able to see the first rehearsals, but I do still think that it would be good to make the media see the first rehearsals, especially because you're going to have leaks anyway. You will always have leaks, and sometimes having really small leaks and no one really knows what is going on, it's better to have some people, which would be, I would say, media, fan media, and like press media, being able to see the first rehearsals, so we're sure that there are not all these like misunderstandings and stuff. I just think that makes the most sense. But they're cutting the cost, and cutting the press room cost in probably half is something that they're probably not going to change. I don't think so anytime soon. Number 10, more focus on interval acts. Many, I mean not all, but many interval acts to me in recent years feel a bit underwhelming. Let me give an example. 2024, the first semifinal, I think it was Sertab Erna, Helena Paparizou, Perrelli. Queens, obviously, love their songs. And I do think the karaoke idea was kind of fun. We kind of sing along together. But it was also a bit lazy. Like, they did not do anything else but put the 3 women on stage. And then it was like a little karaoke thing. Like, we could have made a grand performance. Like, amazing staging, lights, fire, Like, I want grand performances. And one thing that pisses me off the most is that oftentimes when we have these interval acts, they're all singing playback. Almost everyone is singing playback. There are some that are singing live, but a lot of times it's playback and it's so bland obvious. Like, seriously, can we just do it live? But yeah, we really need more grand performances. Like, I'd rather want one grand performance that you just are like, wow, than I want 3, 4, or 5 lackluster ones. And I think that in recent years, there have been a lot of very underwhelming interval acts, though there have been some incredible ones as well. I just think that we need to be more focus on it because it's the world's biggest music competition. Let's amp it up. Let's use more energy and time on it. But again, money. But I still think you could use the money in a better way and make a more grand performance, but maybe have one less performance. That is at least just what I think. These are the 10 things that I think Eurovision 2025 desperately needs. But let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. And as always, usual blast until I see you next time. Bye bye.